the panel. And so we have some questions. Kim, did you want to give us a sample of the questions?
Yes, so these were just questions we were thinking.
To get the conversation started.
Sure, so for those of you who have signed up to join us and represent us at one of the parent sessions, and I'm sure people have said thank you already, but thank you so much. I know that that's taking your commitment to this committee even to a whole new level, to be willing to be there in front of what could be a group or room with no parents in it, or it could be a room with hundreds of parents in it. We don't really know how that's going to go, but thank you so much for that. So these are the questions that we were just thinking, but please listen to these, and if there are questions that you feel like, look, I don't want to answer that one, let's talk about it, or if you feel like, you know, there's something that I know the public is going to be interested in knowing, then let me know that and we can add a question. So first I was just going to ask each person's name, and then in what capacity did you serve on the task force? So are you there as a parent? Are you there as a health professional? Are you there as a teacher? Are you there as an administrator? The second question is, what did you feel were the strengths of using a task force to choose a curriculum? So what did you find to be powerful about the experience that we had here? Then I was going to ask the flip side of that, and what did you find challenging about the task at hand? We found pieces of this challenge. What were some of the realizations or revelations that assisted you in making your decisions about the program? So what were some of the things that, as we went through, you came to understand better that drove you to whichever program you voted for? The needs of the Fremont community are diverse. How did the task force take this diversity into account? Whether or not the program was your first choice, what are some of the elements you think will be good for the students of Fremont? And then why do you feel the 3 hours curriculum is being recommended, because that's kind of the same question. Why do you feel the 3 hours curriculum is a good choice for Fremont?
Yeah,
so that's kind of the same question. Okay, so who are you? What were the strengths of using a task force? What did you find challenging? What were some of your aha moments that helped you make decisions? How did you reflect the diversity in the Fremont community? And what about this program do you think will serve the needs of Fremont's kids well? So I'd love to hear your feedback on these questions.
So Kelly, I was talking to you earlier at last meeting. This was raised, I think maybe I raised this question that since so many parents were concerned about 3 hours, and now we are recommending again, and it was brought to our attention that it's modified 3 hours. It's not exactly same, which is not what I'm seeing anywhere. So I thought we came to some agreement that instead of referring to it as 3 hours, we would have some adjective added to indicate that it's not exactly same as last year. This is what I felt when parents were raising the issue. Hopefully that would surface that we are not just going against them, that we don't care about what you say. We are, task force has decided 3 hours, but there were points brought up, and I don't see that surfaced in this. I thought we can refer to this as modified or something 3 hours rather than just 3 hours. So parents feel it's different from last year, and I would like to see exactly what the changes are. I mean, the curriculum is not so bad. Everybody agreed that 3 hours curriculum is well structured, well aligned, year to year it goes, so that was my decision for voting for this. It fits in with the number of lessons as against picking something else and then supplementing with, which would make job of CNI amazingly hard by my conscience. So there were some really good points, and I feel we, as I don't know if it's our job as task force, but since we were the decision makers, we should really surface that
I think that's
and call it, instead of 3 hours, give it a name, you know, we don't need to take away 3 hours, but we need to indicate to the parents that it's, you know, it's modified or something is being addressed. I'm not seeing that in the presentation or
Yeah,
anywhere.
and I appreciate that, we've had that conversation, it just hasn't made it into the slide set yet, but this is where I'm thinking would be a good place, as part of the recommendations, to say, how is this different than what we presented
I
before?
think it should be surfaced in the very beginning.
Yeah, I would rather start with that.
It deserves a whole slide to itself.
Because you first want to tell what the difference is and why it is different this time.
Yeah.
You want to start off with that note rather than coming to it at the
And
end.
we really appreciate
Because by the time you've already
parents'
lost the
input.
parents.
You're gonna come in fighting.
You can call
Not
it
fighting,
update.
I wouldn't say fighting, but you want to definitely give them what the change is first before you, I
Yeah,
have
because
to
it's not like
accept
people
it.
aren't gonna know what's been chosen, I mean, I'm sure that's already out there, right?
No, 3 hours, that's fine, I don't.
Yeah,
you-
no, but I mean, that they're gonna be coming. to
Correct,
know
a
that.
name doesn't make a difference, name is not, it's fine if it's
But
3
I
hours,
think that
but you
is-
definitely want to let them know what the
Yeah.
difference is.
We agree with you completely. So what are some of the differences that you think parents would find compelling? What do you wanna see us put on that slide?
So what were the issues raised last year, and can we address that this modified version of TRs doesn't have that? That's basically, to me.
Yeah, like just bullet points.
Or how about it not being a modified version of 3 hours?
Because I think that
Well,
was part of
it's
the
Because that was the problem
year.
last time,
It's
is that,
still modified with gender.
From last
So
year,
it's differently
basically.
modified.
well, I mean, I don't even know if you,
But not as modified.
technically, you wouldn't even call that a modification in
Right.
terms of fidelity,
Right.
because it's not.
Updated,
Yeah.
updated.
Use
Yeah,
update.
whatever. So basically, we are saying that it's not exactly the same as last year, is what I'm trying to portray, and that's really what the parents' concern was. If we can put their mind to rest, that the finer points, wherever you were like not in sync with or not happy with, that's not there.
I-
this year, right?
Revised edition. Revised edition.
As you said, I think Debbie, there was a lot of misinformation that went out, or the pornographic images that you just displayed that are not pornographic. I kind of feel like some of the things that have been changed were never even, it wasn't there in the
Like
first
there in the
place.
first place.
I mean, I can speak from my school site, there was a horrible rumor going around that what the teachers were going to be teaching. And it was so untrue, and the person who kind of started that actually had a conversation and opted her child back in at the last minute, but the damage had been kind of done at that point. So I'm not quite sure, like modified to me seems like the wrong term, like we're doing, this is the,
What about misconceptions
there's
from last year?
misconceptions for sure, and I don't know if that addresses all the concerns, but I just know that there was so much misinformation going out that you couldn't keep up with the rumors or the,
And there was some information in it that was intended to be parent material.
correct, and that they thought was
That they
going
thought was
to
gonna
be.
be in the classroom,
Yes.
and so there was, yeah.
And that's not what was happening.
So
in
that
my
could,
school.
that could definitely be addressed in the context of why, how we got here and address some of that.
And how, the misconception of the parent material, it was basically parent supplemental material for home. And a lot of, I think
If
that's.
parents chose to use it,
that,
right.
yeah, and I think that's where a lot of the misconception happened, is parents thought that supplemental material at home was what was happening in
In
the
the
classroom.
classroom, right?
So how can we message it then, because you're starting to like get some ideas here, how can we message it then to address that, in a sense of that this version doesn't have some of that other stuff that had caused some of the confusion? And also, I think that some people were unhappy with the gender spectrum, which I know has been mentioned before. So it doesn't have some of that stuff that people were concerned about. So how can we message it in a way to kind of say that what we're adopting, what?
Why can't you just be upfront and just be blunt and just say, here were the issues last year,
Yeah, exactly. What we're
here's
saying
what
right now.
is happening this year, and show, like kinda how you've done a lot of your,
Like I said.
your side-by-side comparisons, why can't you do that? I mean,
You know?
even sitting here, I'm going, what are the misconceptions? But if this is what the misconception is, and seeing, oh, it's not there, side by side, there's no room for error, no wiggle room.
And
maybe any materials that go out, say, parent only, really?
There aren't going to
There's
be
not
any
gonna be
parent
any.
materials.
It's
We learned our lesson on that.
Can clarify that this is a parent information session for the proposal. It's not the parent information session we normally give parents to preview the curriculum before they're actually taught.
So one of the,
It's like a two thing.
yeah, so one of the goals of this is, one, to give the parents in the community to see what's been kind of being proposed, to give them clear information, to be able to address some of the misinformation that's been out there, and also have an informant that's not a board meeting. Because a board meeting is not productive. I mean, you get some people who come up and make comments, half of them could be incorrect, half of them are questions and you can't answer them, and it's not a constructive dialogue. So the hope is that we can have a constructive dialogue where we can answer people's questions, and if folks still want to opt out, then that's their choice, and it'll be hopefully an informed choice. If they want to show up at the board meeting and be, express their concerns or reservations about the program, they can do that informed as well. Or if they want to support it, they can do that as well.
We're trying to alleviate misconception by getting out in front of it and being really clear with what the curriculum recommendation is going to be and how we got there. And so hopefully the board meeting won't have those misconceptions stated there. Because in that venue, it's like this meeting, public comment is not a dialogue, and so that just gets left hanging there as if it's truth. And there's no back and forth. In a parent information night, they can ask questions and we can address those questions. So it's just an additional step that we're taking.
I guess I'm wondering why not start with a slide that really summarizes what we've done, that identifies the curriculum we looked at, talks about the initial vote, that's what got rid of Team Talk, and then has that really wonderful set of slides from the voting meeting where you broke it down, the curriculum we were comparing the 3 hours. Oh, is that one in there and I missed it? Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't compare. It just,
You have that really wonderful set that compared 3 hours, all right, maybe they weren't compare, but yeah, the 3 hours PCP by the age and showed the gaps, which I think is gonna be really crucial because what I heard from you, and I know this was very important to my end decision, of supporting 3 hours, which I wrestled with a lot prior to the time I'd actually entered planning on voting for PPP, just because I was like, whatever, they're close enough. If people will, it will make people feel like they can support PPP better, fine, but then when I really had to sit down and think, and look at that and think about all the gaps and in our school district, I when push came to shove, I just couldn't. So that I know that was very critical to me, and I think that will also be really critical for explaining how we have two curriculums that had strong, that we liked. It's very clear in the meeting, we all liked both of them. Like why it is that liking both of them, we didn't just opt for the kind of the easier way of PPP and go with one that didn't have baggage, but enough of us did end up still feeling that 3 hours just was a significantly better fit for Fremont.
But I really still reiterating, I still feel addressing their concerns should be high on our priority, not ignoring, that needs to be addressed.
I
we
think
heard you.
we're all on the same page with that. It's an interesting perspective that you bring up, Miriam, when we're talking about, the parent education night would be, in our minds, thinking about the curriculum that the task force came to recommend. But it's an interesting twist on it, saying, these were the curricula that we looked at, this is what we narrowed it down to, and this is why we went with the curriculum that we chose, by comparing it to the other curriculum that was available for us to consider. It's an interesting idea.
Cynthia first,
Yeah, but a couple of things. I agree that starting off with what I like, okay, so at the last meeting we voted you had those slides. Those slides were wonderful because that helped, again, reiterate what's already been said, is that it helped me to think about the difference between PPP and 3Rs, and those gaps is what really got me and made me lean over to 3Rs instead. So I think that would be really important to point out, like, at least around the beginning. And I think that the parents will come in feeling, why did you choose? Some parents will come in feeling, why did you choose this again? That doesn't make sense. And then I would also be really careful about using terms like, I don't know, misinformation, maybe that would be better instead of I don't know, other words, because
Don't be
I feel like
inflammatory.
it doesn't validate the other things. And there are other things that I feel that, like, I'll give an example. If there's an anatomy lesson, I might think it's just anatomy. And another parent might think that it's pornography. And so it's really subjective in that way, and I feel like the best thing for that, in terms of just clarifying what needs to be taught, is just the legal piece. Is being able, as you, like, state certain things, refer it back to, you know, the legal part.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to have those images there, because I really wanted to highlight and say this is as graphic as the images get in the curriculum.
Yeah.
Because I know when I went to one of the parent nights, I mean, we had 60 people there, and I asked how many people had actually seen the curriculum, and only 4 people raised their hand. But people had very strong opinions about it. So I just want to make sure that people know what's in it, so that they can make, and that might be pornographic for some people, and they may want to know what their kid's in it because of that. But I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's it? Okay, that's kind of a shock, because I'm not used to seeing that, but it's not. Just like you all did when we sat down and we looked at all 3 programs together, and you were able to compare. That was a moment for me where the atmosphere in the room really changed, is when you were like, oh wow, they're all kind of the same.
But I think Cynthia's making a good point that pornographic, if that's the term we're gonna use, is very subjective, and it's how you are feeling. But if we take that back to compliance, legally compliant materials, then it kind of takes it from the subjective realm to the objective realm.
Right, I think it's a good strategy. And the last comment is that, just point out. Sorry.
Well, you can come back if you need to.
Okay, thank
Sonia?
you.
So for me, one of the most critical functions going forward is that when people learn this decision, they do not leap to the conclusion that everybody ran to their biases and voted the way they could be typically expected to vote. So I think there's great value in being careful about how you present the trajectory of the task force and the moments of coming to understand each other's points of view. And so, you know, faced with the same quandary that several people have talked about already, I did vote for PPP. And one of the biggest reasons was, although I was a little confused about the anonymous vote, I kind of assumed that our votes were going to be on the record. I'm a Human Relations Commission, so every vote I ever make is always public and on the record. And I really wanted to get that down there. I was equally happy whichever way it turned out, but I wanted it on the record that one of the people that fought quite hard for 3 hours during the board meetings voted for PPP because I was okay with making that work. And so I feel like those are some things that need to be discussed at the parent meetings or in the board presentation, or perhaps both, because if people come away having lost faith in what the task force was doing, then we wasted our time. And people are going to be very angry, you know, as angry as they were before, saying, oh, we waited 6 months, now we have a new board, blah, 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 blah. And to avoid that, we really have to put ourselves into the vantage point of the parents who did not attend most of these meetings, there's no video record of it, most of it, and they didn't really see the amount of collaboration and cooperation that was going on in here, and they're going to lead to certain conclusions. So I think it's really important that we try to avoid that, and so laying out the sort of trajectory of how we got here from there, I think that's really important. Secondly, I think the issue of the difference in 3 Rs, you should definitely make that clear at the beginning of both the presentation and the parent nights, because if you don't, every single time you say the word 3 Rs, people are going to get triggered. So if you eliminate some of that from the beginning, and you may have to do a little myth versus fact, or a little chart that shows what people thought was in it and what's not in it. You can cover the misinformation that we had. as well as whatever changes have accommodated so that people can be a little bit more comfortable, but that comfort won't be there unless they've got faith in the task force. So I feel like those are the areas we really have to be able to find a way to communicate that to the people.
Do you think it makes sense, Sonia, to add a question to the panel about I just thinking off the top of my head, this is going to sound really rudimentary, but did your vote change? Did your opinion change through the work of the task force? I think that would be a valuable insight to parents.
Sure.
And I also hear what you're saying, making sure that we capture it in the slide deck as well in our presentation.
Yes.
That might be something that we.
Because I will tell you, there was a board member who said, y'all come back with 3 Rs, I'm just gonna, like, there was a single board member that said that in the meetings last year. So even the board members need to be convinced that we came to this task force in good faith, and that we threw ourselves into this job. We all gave up a lot of time to work for it, and I don't think there was anybody in this room that didn't do a fair job of really investigating these things and going with their heart. And that applies to every single person in this room. And I just hope that we don't lose that sense when we're communicating out to the parents who are gonna be the people that start coming to the board meetings to voice their opinions if they're not happy with what we've done.
I raised my hand.
We had Nicole, and then over here.
I actually
and
raised
then-
my hand along with this.
We had Nicole next. Did you still have your comment?
We'll come to you after,
Let's just get the
Stacy.
people in order.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I thought there was a big group that was pushing for PPP, and kind of everybody reiterated it, I think it's really important to show the progression, because like from our people sitting here, I kind of was with you, I thought they were almost identical until your chart. So I think that, to me, that was really powerful, and when we put that up last time, there was a lot of, whoa, and so I think that just the way that you present material, your visuals are really good, Jeff, and so that's my PowerPoint, visual.
Yeah, we can definitely put that in, and I'm thinking we could probably put it in when we talk about the ranking process and the voting process, and then we can kind of say how we compared them before we took